Hi, my name is Julio, and this is the third episode of my weekly vlog. In this episode, we're going to cover a bunch of things that are for 2023 and also an in-depth review of my current YouTube analytics, hopefully to give you some value and tips in this journey to grow my YouTube channel and in this journey for us music producers and artists to take advantage of this great platform. First chapter is about YouTube analytics, in particular, the current strategy of releasing YouTube Shorts on a daily basis. As many of you know from my previous episodes and also from my activity on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, I have been focusing on YouTube Shorts, in particular following the suggestions of YouTube guru Robert Benjamin. Now, Robert Benjamin has gave me this amazing suggestion of creating micro content in the format of a music quiz where listeners or viewers on YouTube, they have to guess a song just by seeing me playing the riff of a popular rock or pop song on YouTube in 10 or 20 seconds.
Hi guys, and we're back for this third episode of my weekly YouTube analytics overview, checking what is happening, what is working, and what is not working on my YouTube channel in this quest for growing my YouTube channel. As you might have seen in my previous videos, in my previous weekly vlogs, I've been working with Robert Benjamin, which is this YouTube mentor, very good in order to grow my subscribers on YouTube, in particular using this strategy of posting one YouTube short per day. And I've been consistent. I've actually stopped posting YouTube shorts about 2 days ago because I didn't have time to do a batch production. I was focused on finishing an album and also preparing for the Grammys, because I'll be attending the Grammys in February 2023, and I have a long list of people to meet and a lot of collaborations and super cool stuff that I'll make sure to document in February in this weekly vlog. So definitely subscribe, remember to check my channel regularly, because these weekly episodes, they're gonna get better and better with more stuff that hopefully ultimately will give value to you in this journey that we're all sharing here on YouTube, both as artists, music producers, and also music lovers. So when I click on the analytics, which is what I do pretty much on a daily basis, and I go into advanced mode, which is the best way to have an in-depth overview of what works and what doesn't work. And I go by returning viewers, which is one of the magic analytics that should always be under your radar. What I see is that the videos that attract most returning viewers are, yes, the shorts, but actually we do have a few evergreens. Now, one thing that I need to make sure to do is to unselect other channels, because by having an official artist channel on YouTube, which is the one with a famous music icon next to my name, I have the analytics that are a little bit scrambled with YouTube channels that feature my music. So when I click on advanced mode, also the YouTube algorithm is not always the best. Sometimes it gets songs that are not even mine from other YouTube channels, and there's no way to fix that. But in order to have clean numbers, what I do, I select my YouTube channel and then I go into advanced mode, and I see that definitely the shorts with the guest song format are the most successful. So definitely next week I'll create more. I just have to be, more innovative, I'd say, because I got myself bored about doing just, guitar riffs for 20 seconds and have the voice that says guess a song. It's pretty cool for a general audience, but maybe for you guys, for the guys that are watching these videos, that are a little bit more technical and a little bit more into the behind the scenes, those videos, they might be stupid. They might be ultimately nothing too challenging or interesting. And I'm with you, because I'm not crazy about covers. I'm not crazy about music quiz, but definitely micro content, as I've explained in one of my previous videos, is gonna be the key in 2023. Okay, so this is everything for now for my YouTube analytics. Stay tuned. I'll see you next week for this section of my weekly vlog, and I hope you're gonna enjoy the rest of the video.
The second chapter of this YouTube vlog is about a great chat that I had several weeks ago with fantastic guitar player, artist, and songwriter Ryan Roxie. Ryan Roxie is a veteran rocker that is currently guitar player for legendary rock star Alice Cooper, and we connected over Instagram pretty randomly. He liked one of my stories where I was playing actually classical guitar, funny enough. Even recently, I've released an album called Rock Anthems, where I played I'm 18, which is an Alice Cooper song, and you can find the link to the song in the link in the description or on top here somewhere on YouTube. We talked for about an hour about New York, great venues in New York, rock history, playing with bands, touring, and stuff like that. And there's 3 points in the chat that I think will give value to you, in particular about understanding how amazing and unique is a music scene and how important it is to be connected and networking with other musicians.
But it's funny you mentioned Mercury Lounge, because that's where I did one of my best. Man, I've never really talked about this because it's such an off script type of, or just like an off topic thing of like, oh, do you know the Mercury Lounge? But that place used to be the best showcase place for bands to come in and do it. And that's where we did the Tal Bachman, when I played with Tal Bachman. I'm not sure if you know this artist. It's Randy Bachman's son. And there was a huge song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, she's so
Oh,
high
yeah.
above me. Well, that's
Yeah,
my guitar playing. That's that's us, and that's us playing that song. But we did our showcase at the Mercury Lounge in, like, what was it, 90? I want to say
89, 1989.
No. This is
No.
in the 90s, because it
It's
had
in
to
the
be the
90s.
Yeah, this is in the 90s.
Yeah, She's So High won a BMI award, right?
Oh, dude, it won a bunch of. It what
remember
won the
that
most of
song.
was, because he's a Canadian artist. It won a bunch of gemmas, or what are they called, like Canadian, whatever
Yeah, I
the
think it's the
equivalent
Gemmas,
of Canadian
Grammys,
Grammys are. So yeah, I just remember that showcase thing, because your whole entire career you kind of strive to be in a buzz band, so to speak, and you never are. You're kind of like in that, you fight, you grind, you book, you play in front of nobody, and you build your chops basically, but you're talked about, and people, say, hey, send me your demo tape. You send it and you never get a response back. It's people are coming down tonight, and then they didn't come down. Well, this thing was a buzz band from the get-go. I don't know what happened. It was just one of those things, the right time, the right place, the right songs. Yeah, he had some really good songs. He did. But everything got taken care of for us. Like it was like when we did that showcase in the Mercury Lounge, there were so many labels. I could just tell there was like an audience in the front, watching, digging, but then there was just suits all in the back row. And while we were playing, Donnie Ienner from Columbia Records walked out to his limo and called up the lawyer in LA and said, okay, what's it going to take to sign these guys? So we got signed midway through the set, because it was one of those things where people were looking around. Everyone was it was almost like the Emperor's New Clothes story. They were looking around to see, like, okay, if I don't sign it, someone else is. And then I don't want to, I don't want to like look bad and say I didn't even put an offer in. So I'll just go and do it. And that was a fun ride.
I would like to know about what is your not when I say songwriting process, but how do you approach that?
I wish this is a great question, because I wish I could bottle the creative times and be able to open it up and take a swig out of it whenever I needed to have a song come out. It just doesn't work that way for me. And that's different from other people that I know, that especially living up here in Sweden. There are people that diligently work in their studio every single day. They're programming, they're creating, they're trying to come up with melodies and this and that every single day. And I get that trial and error thing. For me, the hardest thing, and you called it a situation. Me, I call it the hook, the riff, or the actual play on words. If it's one of those three things, if I got a melodic hook in my head that I can translate to guitar, that is in the ton of ideas that I have on my iPhone memos, which I'm sure you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Or if I can come up with a guitar riff when I'm just not actually thinking about playing guitar, just having a guitar in my hand, and all of a sudden I come up with a riff. Or I can come up with a play on words, some sort of title. There's a lot of times when I'm just driving around with Alice, going to the golf course, or just basically hanging, and he'll come up with this. We'll be talking, and he'll come up with a saying, or I'll come up with something, and he'll say, "Hey, put that down on your phone. But we'll save it for later because it'll be a catchphrase, something like that." So all those three things, I wish I could just put into different little envelopes and be able to take one out whenever I need it. But it doesn't happen that way for me, because I honestly feel that, because you were talking about, you started touring in the late 90s, right? And you got a little taste of the record business, of the heyday of the record business. It sounds like I got a huge taste of it. I got, I've been lucky enough to make records. And I know that I'm still, a newbie when it comes to having, the type of history of some of the bands that we actually go and tour with. But I've been around long enough to know what it's like to make records on 2-inch tape, to know what it's going to make it to then go down to digital tape and ADATs and D88s and all that sort of transitional phase, then making it on Pro Tools, and now coming full circle where people want to make albums on 2-inch tape again because it sounds, it's the vibe. So it's come full circle. I've been able to make an album on every single format, and the whole time, my strength has always been guitar parts. I feel that, once the bed is laid down, what I can add with little triads or little notes that don't step on the vocal but help the vocal, I feel that that's my biggest forte, my biggest strength as a writer. You don't get credit for that in a lot of situations, as you know, because that's your job as a guitar player, to come up with parts. I find myself listening to more and more music now that I have YouTube. Now that YouTube's such a part of my life, I and because I'm constantly I'm vacillating between podcasts and music. Because if I'm doing research for one of my guests, I just go down that rabbit hole of their music. And then from there, you find other artists that are similar. And another type of thing is, I find myself listening to a lot of music now with just basically putting on a song that I like, and then hitting, whether it's Spotify or YouTube Music, putting on the radio option, because then it can come up with many similar songs. And I found out so many bands through that. But what happened last weekend for me was that my wife is making me clean up the attic, and up in the attic was my first generation iPod, and the iPod that I had all my music from the 90s up into 2005, all on this iPad. So much stuff you can't even find on Spotify or YouTube Music or anything like that is on that iPod. So I was been listening to that heavily for the last week or so.
As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, in 2023, I'll be attending the Grammys. I'll be in LA. I think it's on the 5th of February, and I'm really blessed and honored to be part of such an amazing community. The whole community of the voting members of the Recording Academy have been really supporting. We've been in great chats. I connected with some amazing musicians. And personally, I think that the Recording Academy is not just a Grammy, but just goes a lot far beyond as far as providing value to the music producers community. So I'll be in LA in the first week of February. Feel free to connect with me, link up with me on social, send me an email, and we can have a chat in the studio. I'll be networking. I'll be meeting some of my friends that are great artists, great producers, entrepreneurs in Los Angeles. And we're gonna end up this video with a little preview of a series of interviews that I will be releasing during 2023, where I will be talking about my years touring and traveling around the world, and just in general having an amazing experience connecting with musicians and artists from any background, literally in 3 continents. This one is about when I was in New York and I was playing with bands, and I was attending great concerts and just having an amazing time. See you next week. Ciao. Everything was quite, a vibe. It was very interesting. You wanted to be part of that. Mercury Lounge was obviously one of the venues where you had the most popular bands, the most famous bands, but you had plenty of live music venues. And if you're going to Brooklyn and going to Galapagos or Monkey Town, or just art studios that they were doing, pop-up nights or just one-off events, you'll have like great DJs.